Hey guys, welcome back to my video. Today I wanted to share with you a planning video. So I asked in my Facebook collectors group if you would like to see kind of how I do my planning, and a bunch of you guys said yes. So I wanted to go through my planning system. I love to watch planning videos at the beginning of the year and kind of see what everybody's doing for their planning and organization. So for me as an artist, I find it really important for my planner to have a lot of flexibility. So just like a standard like 9 to 5 planner, I find doesn't always work for me. And what I have ended up using or kind of started gravitating towards over the years is a bullet journal. So I love bullet journaling. I've been doing it for I would say like 4 or 5 years now. I wasn't super consistent with it last year, and I've been trying to get back into it, and already like just in the couple weeks that I've been doing it, really feel like it's helping me be more productive and a little bit more organized. So the main reason I wanted to share with you my bullet journal in particular is because I think when you get online and you look at bullet journal content or bullet journal videos, they're normally so beautiful. They have tons of like illustrations and doodles and drawings, and my journal is not like that. So even as an artist, my journal is very, very simple. It's really primarily used for planning, and then I think also like not intimidating. Like I watch those bullet journal videos, and even as an artist, like I feel really intimidated to try to recreate those spreads. So mine is really boring. It's really strictly for planning, but it helps me stay really organized. So I'm going to show you like here in a second up close of my journal and just kind of walk you through the main pieces of my bullet journal. So for my planning system, I stick really closely to the bullet journal method. I bought this book by Ryder Carroll, who is the actual creator of the bullet journal method, and his bullet journaling system is a little bit more simplified than a lot of the stuff that you see online. So I just reread this book again. I've read it before, but I reread it to kind of really go through all of the ideas. And what I love about it is that the bullet journal is not only a planning system, but it's also an organization system for your thoughts. And I find that so helpful for me to have one place where I can write down all my art ideas, things for my business. I can write down my grocery list. Everything is like all in one place instead of being really random, on little pieces of Post-its or like all different notebooks everywhere. So that's something I've really found like beneficial, to have one spot that all my ideas can go and I can come back to them in the future. So I'm just gonna jump right in, and I'm gonna show you up close on my journal and just kind of talk you through my system if you are new to bullet journaling, and hopefully you enjoy kind of seeing like what I do, or maybe you even get some inspiration. All right, so this is my journal here. For me, I have discovered over the years that I like a bigger journal, so I have more room like side to side to write. So for me, my journal is a B5 size. I'm using a Scribbles That Matter journal, which I will link in the description if you're interested in this particular bullet journal. I think maybe one of my like long-term goals, I would love to make my own bullet journal someday. I think that would be awesome. But the reason I like this journal is because it has like a couple features that I think are kind of unique. The pages are a little bit thicker. They're not super thick if you were going to do like painting or drawing in your journal. But for me, as long as my pen doesn't bleed through, that's totally fine. But I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, but in the center here, the very center of the page, instead of having a little dot, it's a little X. And then kind of halfway down the page is a little line, and halfway across is a little line. So if I need to just divide up my page into fourths, it's really easy to do that really quickly. Not sure if you can see. Maybe I'll show some up close shots, but my journal has little dots in a grid. So it's a dot grid notebook, which is generally what most people use for bullet journaling. You can use any type of notebook for bullet journaling. It doesn't have to be a bullet like style notebook. You can use a lined notebook or just a blank notebook, whatever you resonate with. But like I mentioned, I use the bullet journal method, and I stick to that as closely as possible. So my pages are pretty boring. One thing when I reread the book is that Ryder Carroll really emphasizes that only things that are actually important to you that you're going to use should make it into your journal. So I purposefully didn't add a lot of extra kind of spreads that a lot of people do when they do bullet journal setup videos, because I really only wanted it to be what I need. So this journal has a spot for your key code at the front of the journal. So I have little bullets that I use. These are the same as the bullet journal method in the book. So I just wrote them down. At this point, I don't really forget them, but just because I have that section in my journal, I will do that. My name and email in case my journal would ever get lost. These 2 pages in the journal are blank. And then there is the index. So if you don't have an index in your journal, you can make one, but the importance of a journal or of an index here is that if I make a collection or I make a section of my journal that I think I'm going to want to come back to, I can put the page numbers here in the index so I can easily find it. So it kind of works like a table of contents where you can come in and find, you know, I have a list of like activities, no phone activities. So if I turn my phone off, what are some other fun activities that I could do? I have content planning brainstorm that I was working on page 13. So it's really easy for me to find things. And this journal does have 2 bookmarks as well. So I normally keep one here just so I can come back to the index. And there's 4 pages in this journal for an index. This is my future log. So if you're familiar with bullet journaling, a lot of people do really fancy, really pretty future logs. For me, most of my future events I actually keep in my Google Calendar on my phone. So I set this up more as a place to write down like tasks that I think I might want to do in February or March, or things that I want to push off. So not necessarily events like a vacation or a doctor's appointment, but more of like business things that I want to do. So, or it could be personal things that I want to do. So I like little calendars on the sides. Don't look too closely. There's lots of mistakes. I messed up this calendar. I spelled a couple months wrong, actually, which is hilarious. Like, it's not something you would ever do, but as soon as you're like focusing on making it nice and pretty, I end up with mistakes in it. So yeah, then you can kind of see I started filling out February, any events or like deadlines that I have for that month. I can start to fill them in this section here. You definitely could do this without a little calendar. You could just put the months on here if you wanted it to be even simpler. But I do like, if I don't have my phone out, I do like to be able to see like what the actual dates, what day of the week the dates fall on. So I have 2 pages of my future log, all of my months for the upcoming year, and then a little section for next year if I have anything that I'm planning like really far in advance. This goals spread was recommended in the bullet journal method. I've actually never used this before, but the prompt in the book said to do a goals spread. So a spread is like 2 pages here. I have personal and business goals, and then divide it up into 5-year goals, 4-month goals, 3 weeks, 2 days, and 1 hour. And as you put your goals in here, you know, it might not match exactly. It might not really be a 5-year goal. Maybe it's like a 3-year goal or a 2-year goal. But just kind of giving you a little bit of a sense of like how urgent these goals are can help you decide like what to work on next. So I'm still working on kind of filling this out, and I find like short-term goals are harder for me. I have a lot of like big things that I want to do like long-term, but then it's like, how do I break those goals down into smaller steps to do, you know, today and tomorrow? So that's something that I'm kind of working on, using that method specifically in the journal, bullet journal book. So then I went ahead and did 2025 goals that I'm going to work on kind of filling in here, and goal brainstorming. So if I have any other ideas for goals, I can put them down here. For me, I think of like a new thing I want to do like every day. So the problem isn't like having goals. The problem is narrowing down what I really want to focus on and making sure everything I'm focusing on is moving me in the direction that I want to move. And I really like having like a goals brainstorming place or something where I can write down those goal ideas, but then I don't necessarily have to remember them or start on them right away. I can always come back to this list and be like, oh yeah, I remember that I wanted to do. Maybe now is a better time to try it. And then I'm jumping right into my first month of planning. So I have been working on this as we go through the month. This is, again, the layout that's recommended for in the bullet journal method. I just have the days of the month here on the side, and then I can write down anything that's going on. You can also use this as like a way to track your memories or important things that happened. So after the fact, after the day, you can also write down, if something exciting happened or something memorable that you want to keep track of. But yeah, I'll go through and pre-write out anything, any events or anything I know I have coming up, and then I can kind of work day to day and fill out. As a habit tracker, if you have any habits that you're trying to keep track of, you can also, I did like a little key down here. This month I was tracking how many grams of protein I was eating, if I had my phone on focus mode in the morning, if I took my vitamins, and if I took a walk. So I just put like the initial up here, and then each day I can put an X if I did it. And you can see I haven't started out very strong with any of my goals yet. But yeah, it's just kind of fun to see like your goal tracking. And this is a really easy version of a goal tracker. If you've looked at, or like a habit tracker, if you've looked at any like YouTube videos about bullet journaling, some of them get like really intense and really crazy. So that's just a really quick, easy way to do it. The log, this I find so helpful. These are any tasks or events. For me, mostly I put my events over here, like things that actually have an appointment time. So my meetings, my Zoom calls, my doctor's appointments, things like that will go on this side. The log will be any tasks that I need to do within the month. And this has been so helpful for me to have a spot to write down things that aren't due on a specific day. So I find this really hard to do in a regular planner, where it's like, well, I have these tasks, they need to get done. They need to get done soon, but I'm not doing them today or tomorrow, or in the next couple days. So this gives me a spot to put down all of those tasks that I need to get to. And then every day when I do my planning, I can turn back to here and I can look and say, okay, are any of these things like the next priority that I need to pick up now? So I find that really helpful. And then I like to put down my goals for the month as well, just so that, I keep seeing them and I'm reminded of them. And then I get into daily planning. So like I said, this is an example of my real, this is my real bullet journal. It's messy, it's not perfect. You can see it's also not very pretty. It's not really it's well organized, but it's not like there's not a lot of drawings or doodles or anything like that. If that was something that you wanted to do, where you wanted to kind of combine your sketchbook and your bullet journal, you definitely could. The other thing I know a lot of people do is like long form journaling as well. For me, I have a separate journal that I do like long form journaling. This is really primarily designed for planning and organization, for me at least. So here is an example of a day, January 4th. I had an event. I went to the Crome Conservatory. I had to pay some bills, clean out the cat's water fountain. I wanted to film my painting tutorial, and originally those were all little dots, and I've either crossed them off or made a little arrow on them if I've moved them to another day. So if something has a line, that is a note. And the notes are great too, because anything that comes to my mind, any ideas, I can just jot them down as a note. And with a bullet journal, the idea is that you look at it in the morning and then you look at it again in the evening for a couple minutes, and then you just see like, okay, am I going to move any of these things to a different day? Maybe you didn't get to all of them. You can follow up on your notes if anything was important that maybe you're going to turn into a task or something that you're going to do, then you can organize it. So I used to find that I was really good at checking in the morning, but bad at checking in at night. And I recently downloaded the Bullet Journal app, which goes along with the book. And I surprisingly found it like super helpful. I do think that you have to pay for that app. I think it was like $5 for the app, but the app is on your phone and it's not like a bullet journal. It's supposed to be a complement to your journal. So if you have any notes, you can write them down throughout the day. Like if I don't bring my journal with me, then I can throughout the day kind of just put notes on my phone, and then I have little reminders set in there in the morning and the evening to like check to check back in with my bullet journal. So yeah. The other thing I like about the bullet journal is as things come to your mind that you want to spend a little more time on, if there's a note or a task or something, or maybe a goal that you want to break down and you need some more space to do some planning, you can assign it what's called a collection. So a collection is basically just a page or maybe several pages of about the same topic. So for me, I did a January post calendar ideas where I was thinking about different social media posts that I'm going to do throughout the month. And this isn't necessarily like the same as my like daily tasks. This is its own thing. And so I put that in my index where I put in my January post calendar ideas. So if I want to go back to that or I want to update it, I can. It's here in my index, and that has its own page. I'm also doing some content planning, brainstorming, and some content week ideas. I'm playing around with the idea of doing like different themes every week. I thought that might be fun. No phone activities, so things to do without my phone. And then I went right back into my daily planning. So if I have other ideas or things I want to expand upon, I can, but it doesn't like get in the way of my other planning as well. So yeah, that is basically it. You know, I'm not very far into the journal because we're only on the 10th here. I've got a lot of extra space for planning. The only thing I did to make this journal kind of pretty was I did get a sticker set, and I tried to find it online to share it with you guys. I couldn't. I found it at my local craft store, but mine was like a Celestial planner stickers, I think is what it was called, but it was a big set. So like this sticker was not on the journal, it was just gray. So I put my little sticker on here. It says make the most of today. And I did decorate some of the pages with some of the stickers because then I felt like it looks a little bit cute, but it wasn't very hard for me to do that. So if you see any like stickers in here, I just used one sticker set. I know a lot of people use washi tape and they like to scrapbook and do things like that. So those are other options, but I just keep it as simple as possible. That to me is like the best way for me to keep up with it. If I feel like I'm gonna have to spend like 2 hours on it every time I sit down to bullet journal, I'm for sure not gonna keep up with it. So yeah, but every once in a while I added a couple little stickers in there because I thought they were cute. And then I have a pen set that's like a vintage colored pens that I've been really enjoying. So you'll see like my journal has like lots of crazy colors in here, like none of them match. Because just every time I sit down to journal, I just pick a different pen, whichever one I've been interested in at the moment. So if you're interested in checking out this particular journal or you want to see the pens, I can link those in the description box. But like I said, I couldn't find online those stickers, but I'm sure that you could find something similar if you wanted something similar. But I think that's it. That's basically how I plan. I love that this planner system is so flexible because as an artist, my schedule really varies day to day, week to week, and this helps me keep really organized and gives me a spot for all my ideas. So please let me know what you think in the comments. If you had any questions about bullet journaling, I'd love to chit chat or if you have any planning ideas for me, please let me know. If you liked this video, please give it a like here in YouTube. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love if you would subscribe so that you'll be notified when I post future videos. Thank you so much. Bye.